One of the biggest issues of the last presidential campaign was reforming our immigration system. And yesterday, the White House announced a brand new path to U.S. residency with an expensive toll. Take a look.
We're going to be selling a gold card. You have a green card. This is a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges plus. It's going to be a route to citizenship, and wealthy people will be coming into our country by buying this card. They'll be wealthy, and they'll be successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people. And we think it's going to be extremely successful.
Would a Russian oligarch be eligible for a gold card?
Yeah, possibly. Hey, I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people.
You know, remember when Elon bought America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could have saved money with this. Because this is only $5 million.
But he only would have gotten a green card,
over
not the whole
200
country.
million.
Well, you're right. You're right.
Timing is everything.
There you are.
Listen, my gripe with Trump a lot of times is the way... What is happening?
Making pens.
Listen, the way that he talks about it, it makes it sound like America's for sale to the highest bidder. I don't like that. But what I will say, this is actually basically an expansion on the existing EB-5 visa program. I have some questions because those are basically meant to incentivize the best and brightest to come to America, to create jobs here, to hire people, contribute tax revenue. But I want to know, is there national security vetting? So yes, could a terrorist organization or a Russian oligarch come in? And then just, again, don't make it sound like we're for sale. Make it sound like you want to come here because you want to be in America. But I'll say this on immigration. Donald Trump ran on two things. The economy is still looking really dicey. My eggs were like $14 the other day. But on the board...
Cooking eggs.
Yes, cooking eggs. Yeah, those eggs are even more expensive, by the way. But the border crisis, he's effectively solved in 1 month. This blew my mind. The Washington Post, there's been a 98% drop in daily border crossings in the lowest single-day total in 15 years this past week. From an all-time high of 11,000 in December of 2023 under Biden to only 200 a week ago under Trump. So he's doing that. That is what people voted for. Now, please get to the economy because everything's too damn expensive.
Well, one thing, though, that a lot of the people that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that voted for Trump, a lot of the people most critical of immigration are immigrants themselves who came here and went through the processes and are now like, I did my part, you should do yours. To speak like this about the fact that he ran on anti-immigration, and I'm going to fix that, like you said, numbers are down, but if you have enough money, you can come. So I don't think that's going to bode well for the people that voted for him, that you can just skip the line if you're wealthy. That is a problem. I also think that he talks so much about criminals coming across the borders and all the problems they bring with them. People with money can be criminals, too. In fact, they have more resources to be criminals. And so what comes to mind right away is you mentioned terrorists. I think it was 11 or 12, 15 of the 9/11 hijackers were Saudi Arabians. Not that that is necessarily linked to the government, but there's a lot of money there. And right now you have Trump talking loosely about taking over Gaza. That puts a terrorist target on our back, and extremists, groups, jihadists, will not stop until they're not just done with land grabs, they're done with Western civilization. So they will definitely come here if this kind of thing can be bought.
And it's way easier than the way that they're planning in the past. That's way easier.
All I can say is thank God someone's looking out for millionaires. Because this guy has now cut $2 trillion cuts from the social net in this country. Let's talk about that for a second. Forget this gold card. It's a stupid idea, in my opinion. But $2 trillion in cuts will include Medicaid, SNAP, which means food stamps, and 9 million people will be affected by the SNAP food stamp.
It's a blueprint, though. This hasn't gone into effect yet.
No, but they want it, and they'll get it if they really push it. You know they will. $4.5 trillion in tax cuts for people who are in the 0.1% of people who earn money in this country and corporations. So these millionaires who are coming with their $5 million are going to get a nice tax cut when they come here also. And more cuts are coming, probably to Social Security and Medicare, which has not happened yet, but it will. If they continue on this streak, it will happen. Well, so people have to know that. You know, fine, you want to come in here and bring your $5 million with you and create jobs? Maybe, but all these people, what happens to them? That's what I want to know.
Well,
I think you're absolutely right, Joy, because if you read Project 2025, everything that is in Project 2025 is what is happening, and those things that you just listed are there. And so that is the goal, that is the ultimate blueprint, that is the ultimate plan, and it's been pretty effective so far with all these executive orders. But in terms of the immigration thing, I think this is not that different from what happens in Europe. You can have this sort of golden visa through real estate in places like Portugal and Spain and Greece.
A lot of the
Caribbean. So this would be the most expensive golden visa. But I think what's fascinating to me is that, yes, he ran on immigration, and he ran really on the southern border, because we know we also border Canada, and that's actually the largest border, but they're not really going into Canada and looking for those Canadian people that are kind of jumping back and forth.
This is a misnomer. It's not Canadians that come across the northern border. The northern border crisis, no, it's people coming from other parts of the world, India, Mexico. But there's not a bunch of Canadians flocking. There's probably more Americans going to Canada right now.
That's not true, because I spoke to Governor Whitmer about it. But
that was a misunderstanding.
Can I just
talk at the same time?
Can I just finish what I was saying?
Yeah.
So that I
About
don't
6,000 Canadians
so that I don't lose my thought. The point is, he was all about immigration from the southern border, and those immigrants or those migrants look a certain way. So it seems to me this was never really just about immigration. It was about a certain type of immigrant. And so now we have these
Can I just clarify, though?
Can I finish talking?
Yes.
Thank you. So it's okay for Russian oligarchs to come over. It's okay for people with money to come over, but it's not okay to provide a path to citizenship for people that have been here, like the DACA recipients, for other people that look a different way.
So just to clarify, because there is a border crisis on the northern border, and it doesn't get nearly as much attention as the southern. The numbers aren't as high. It is not Canadians crossing from Canada into the United States.
Who is it?
It is Mexico and India are the two largest places that people are coming, because they're seeing that it's actually easier than going through the cartels and going through a more secure southern border. So if they have the resources, that's what the northern immigration crisis.
You know what I want?
Canadians.
I want somebody to make a decision about immigration.
And actually,
I want somebody to make a
watch
decision about immigration, because if you're saying if you got enough money, you can come, but if you don't have the money, we don't want to take care of it. I want somebody to make a decision. Either you're welcome here and you come, or you're not.
Right.
But this, maybe you get in this, maybe,
Congress hasn't passed immigration reform in 30 plus years.
I understand that. But there's enough people now, and if we're going to brag about immigration going down, it might be another reason it's going down, because you're threatening people, you're threatening their lives.
That is his intention.
Yes,
I get that's in Kamala
his
Harris
intention.
said, do not come.
Hold
she went to the southern border
Just
and said
let me finish now this time. My point is, we have spent over 100 years saying to people, come, you're welcome. We'll take you, Now nobody knows how you get in. What do you do? Because it's a mess. So I want somebody to make up your mind so people know what to do. If you can come and you want them to come, because I listen to the folks say, oh, well, we don't want people from other countries coming and teaching people how to do stuff. Why aren't Americans doing it? Because Americans don't know stuff. We need folks coming in to help us figure out how to do stuff. We're not the only people on the planet. One of the joys of this gig is that there's never enough time to get anything said. Because we only have, in all 37 minutes to really get everything out and try to get and guests and all kinds of stuff. So from time to time, you'll see us going, like just now. And it's because people are feeling passionate and want to talk. And because we are not just a political show, we talk about lots of different stuff. We're always trying to jockey about what we're talking about. So we're going to finish up what we were doing before we left, if folks have more to say.
I don't.
Okay.
The point out, and I know it gets heated, and I don't mean to step on people
all
when
right.
I do.
Go ahead,
I'm
baby.
working on interrupting. But something that I think we all at this table agree on, and I hope is something that this White House is considering, is incentivizing people who want to be here, who want to work hard, who want to become citizens, make it so that they can come here. And I'm a strong proponent in these H-1B visas. If you're somebody who's high skilled, you want to start a company here, I want the next Google start here. I want the next Apples to be started here. So we need to do that. But there also always needs to be a path for people who are refugees, people who are asylum seekers, to get here. That is what America's always
Safety
stood
and
for.
everything.
And I don't like the optics of making it sound like it's going to the highest bidder, and if you can afford it or if you can create the next Google, you can be here. That's what's missing.
It seems to me that the history of the country is more about getting workers here rather than refugees. If you know your history, during World War II, there were Jews who were escaping the Holocaust, and they were sent back. They were not allowed to come here. So refugees is not the number one. Number one is to get people to pick your vegetables and things like that. That's what Italian Americans came here to work. Chinese Americans came here to fix the railroad,
the
to
enslaved
build the
were-
railroads.
The
This
enslaved were
idea
brought
that
here
we're
to
the-
work and to
What?
build. The enslaved were
And
brought here
not
to
to
work to
mention the
build it for
black
free.
Americans who came here in the first place were slaves. So let's not be so sanguine about these refugees, because mostly we want workers.
Well, can I also? I do have something else
Well,
to
there
say.
are people fleeing
We're
dangerous
talking about these.
Yes.
We need to bring other people into this country because Americans don't know enough, and because Americans apparently can't get the job done.
No,
Why
that's
don't
not
we?
what I said.
No, I'm not talking about you.
Oh, okay.
There are other people that say that we need these HNV.
Vivek.
You know, we need Vivek said that we need people to come. Why don't we then work on our education here as opposed to blowing up the Department of Education and not educating our children?